Hello everyone, today we're watching The Unhealthiest Restaurant in America, Why It's Controversial by Sunny V2. Now, I think we all know that the United States is just the definition of unhealthy junk food. So what exactly could be the unhealthiest restaurant in that country? Let's find out.
When John Basso first opened the Heart Attack Grill, he had no idea that serving the
Okay, I've heard of the Heart Attack Grill before. I've heard that someone in there had a heart attack, which, I mean, it's in the name, I guess. And I've also heard something about like a guy's ashes, something like that. Well, that's pretty much it.
world's unhealthiest menu would come with so much controversy, countless lawsuits, an avalanche of bad press, and multiple heart attacks on the premises. Prior to opening the Heart Attack Grill in 2005, Basso owned 3 different
2005, so it's what, 19 years old now.
exercise gyms over a 12-year period, where he had advised clients on their dietary and exercise needs, as well as on techniques of caloric reduction. However, he felt this was an untruthful line of work, stating, "It's disgusting because you're promising people things that are outside their genetic possibility. Instead of being a slimy, crooked, dishonest peddler of health and fitness services, I would actually launch a hamburger concept that would be absolutely honest, and that's the only guiding principle."
Hey, this is bad for you, and it's gonna kill you.
The first Heart Attack Grill in
Wow. So what, he used to promote good health, now he just completely switched and is promoting terrible food. But I kind of like this guy because he did say it's terrible for you and it's gonna kill you. So he's not lying. He's just straight up saying that, yeah, this is really bad for you. You shouldn't be eating this.
in Arizona featured a front door sign reading, "Caution, this establishment is bad for your health,"
Wow.
before they'd later add,
Every fast food restaurant should have that in front of their restaurant. They should.
"Cash only because you might die before the check clears." Inside, they'd proudly display the catchphrase, "Taste worth dying for." However, the most insane piece of signage was without a doubt this, reading, "Anyone over 350 pounds eats for free all
350 pounds for free.
day, every day, unlimited," with the only rules being no
No taking food to go, no sharing with others, does not include... How much is 350 pounds? How much is that in kilos? 350, that's 158 kilos, that's... That's actually not as much as I thought it was.
taking food to go, no sharing with others, and does not include beverages, although this wasn't the only unlimited service offered by the restaurant.
Instead of a salad bar, there's an all-you-can-eat flatliner fries bar.
To serve the free meals,
that's-
Basso
That looks disgusting, that cheese... Ugh.
took a tip from Hooters by hiring a bunch of sexy nurses, with a theme of honesty also extending into the job application process, with questions such as whether the applicant has an innie or outie belly button, who would
Why is that a question? Why does that matter? Do people actually care?
they have a hot one-night stand with, their opinion on certain conspiracy
If I had a company and I was hiring people, if anyone said yes to any of these questions, I would immediately just reject their application. Like, conspiracy theorists are just fucking retarded.
theories, and a comment stating, "No one gives a damn about your academic achievements, but if you want to bore us with them, go right ahead." As the head
That's oh, I love that. I love that one.
of the restaurant, John spends every day dressed as a doctor, stating, "We promote nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, fat, cholesterol, sodium, all the building blocks of a quality, healthy, good time," with these insane statements leading to his first appearance on a local news station.
Oh, he's just looking for publicity.
There's a restaurant in Tempe where the food is so rich.
That's a good strategy. The more controversial you are, the more publicity you will get and the more people you will attract.
They call their big burger the quadruple bypass.
It's just good business.
Not everybody thinks that's funny, least of all the Arizona Board of Nursing.
The news story then stated that the American Nursing Board had received 5 or 6 complaints about them calling their waitresses nurses. However, 5 or 6 complaints was a small price to pay, given the story was basically free advertising.
Exactly.
All right, so if you want to bypass, of course, the good kind, now you know where to go. It's called the Heart Attack Grill.
This then turned into further news coverage, where John explained the other ways in which the restaurant might kill you.
We don't do Diet Coke. We don't do light beers. We don't even provide lettuce on our burgers.
With the
I mean, let's be honest. Is Diet Coke really any better than regular Coke? No, it isn't. If you drink too much of it, it's still gonna have bad effects on you. You can drink regular Coke instead of the diet one. As long as you don't drink excessive amounts, you will be fine. Unhealthy food only becomes a problem when you overeat it. When you consume too much of it. It's like with everything else.
a unique approach beating all of their
You can drink too much water and die. I've heard of at least one case where that happened. A woman drank too much water and she died.
competitors.
John, this is creating a firestorm. I have a feeling this is just what you wanted.
Well, I can't say that I don't enjoy the publicity. It definitely
Exactly.
does pack the seats in the restaurant. We've been so lucky as of recently, our
It's
web
a good
traffic
marketing
exceeds
strategy.
McDonald's.com.
After noticing that media stories help the business grow, that attempt to set the Guinness World Record for the world's unhealthiest burger, achieving such with the 9,982 calorie quadruple bypass burger, or
Holy shit. How many calories should like the average adult man eat? Like 2,500? 3,000? Yeah, 2,500. So that's 4 times your daily limit. That is 4 times your daily limit in calories. That one burger is enough for 4 days for the average adult male. And 5 days for the average adult female.
although this
Holy
gluttonous
shit.
piece of food will be served with a side of tragedy. The Heart Attack Grill had introduced a spokesperson named Blair River, who at 6'8", 570 pounds appeared in all of the
570 pounds. That. How much is that? Like 220 kilos? No, 270 kilos.
restaurant's ads.
I'm up another few inches. Who needs these old pants? I could eat for free.
In a 2011 news report, Blair talked about feeling incredibly healthy.
This is good stuff. Everyone should be.
570 pounds. 270 kilos. And he thinks he's healthy. I'm not even sure what this is. Is this just him being delusional or is this just copium?
Be modern size like myself.
However, he passed away before the interview even aired.
Incredibly healthy. Dies at age 30. Actually, no, 29. He was 16 days away from his 30th birthday. Wow.
Sadly, we now know how long that was.
Wait a
Away
minute.
before
This guy was a father? Holy
the interview even aired.
Sadly, we now know how long that was. Blair died last week at the age of 29. His family says the cause of death was pneumonia.
Even in death, the Heart Attack Grill maintained their brutally honest branding.
Had he have been thinner, he most probably would have survived that pneumonia.
Aren't you glorifying?
I mean, it's true. If he was thinner, he probably would have survived. He's not lying. So far, I see absolutely no reason to dislike this guy. Because he's just telling the truth.
Obesity, which obviously kills.
Absolutely.
With Basso taking this even further in a different interview.
If they do die here, I'm not going to lie to you. That's great for business. I'll
It is.
say it again. Death is great for business at the Heart Attack Grill.
Although the media's goal of discrediting
It really is great, to be honest. I mean, it's called the Heart Attack Grill. If someone suffers a heart attack there, that's amazing publicity for him. But I mean, it makes no sense because if I saw that a restaurant was called the Heart Attack Grill and I saw what type of food they were serving and I heard that multiple people have suffered heart attacks there or even died because of that, why would I go eat there? Who would see all of that and still think, yeah, I'll go eat here. That sounds like a great idea.
crediting the founder
Delusional.
who did the opposite. It's actually refreshing to see someone so painfully honest. The owner is great. He makes no apologies, nor should he. You can't blame him for people doing this to themselves.
That's 100% true. These people are doing this to themselves. You could make the argument that he's providing the food, but at the end of the day, he's not forcing them to eat it. They come there by themselves to eat that food. You could make the argument that he's offering food for free to people who weigh over 350 pounds. But that argument, you could say that the reason people go there is because it's free and maybe they don't have enough money to pay for the food themselves. But that argument doesn't work because if you're 350 pounds, you have to eat so much food that there's no way you're struggling when it comes to money. You need to have a lot of money to buy enough food to gain that much weight.
It's impossible to hate this guy because he's being 100% honest. In a different interview, Basso showed his more compassionate side by stating, "Cynical people might think this, River's death, is funny, but people who knew him are crying their eyes out. There is a lot of mourning going on around here. You couldn't have found a better person. Even if he was skinny, we would have given him the job. We would have just put a fat suit on him. He just had personality, as did the restaurant's next spokesperson, Ernie Hart.
How long did he
wouldn't
last?
last long either, although for a slightly different reason. In October 2011, Basso moved the restaurant to the land of indulgence, pleasure, and poor short-term choices,
Vegas.
Las Vegas. The new and improved restaurant featured a public electronic cattle scale, as well as new signage reading "Fighting Anorexia
Fighting anorexia, oh my god.
since 2005, and send hate mail to, followed by their address." The new location also led to a brand new slogan,
Remember, the calories you eat in Vegas stay in Vegas.
as well as an instant increase in business.
We've both doubled in terms of money, in terms of square footage.
However, the craziest change was without a doubt their menu. Despite their quadruple bypass already holding the record for the highest calorie burger, the Heart Attack Grill then doubled their invention, creating the octuple bypass burger, which featured 8
20,000
patties, 40
calories?
pieces of bacon, and 19,000
How
bypass
much?
burger, which featured 8 patties, 40 pieces of bacon, and
40 pieces of bacon. Jesus.
19,900 calories. At around the same point
Insane.
in time, the Heart Attack Grill updated their website to include free
That's 20,000 calories. That's 8 days for the average male and 10 days of food for the average female. Fucking insane.
video and images for the press, where the motivation
It would be impossible to actually eat that in one sitting. You probably wouldn't even be able to finish that within just one day.
for the octuple bypass burger became pretty obvious. They were trying to generate media attention, and this is exactly what they got.
It probably
the new
worked.
burger led to over 100 million views
Matt Stoney did this? On the avocado too, but he looks incredibly skinny in this photo. So this must have been before he became fat. I wonder if Stoney actually managed to finish it. Honestly, I think he's the only person who would be able to do it. Although Joey Chestnut probably could as well.
worth of exposure on YouTube, as different content creators visited the restaurant to see if they could eat it. Those who could, such as Matt Stoney, were given a ride out of the restaurant in a novelty wheelchair, although there were others who were forced to leave in an ambulance.
A customer at the Heart Attack Grill was rushed to the hospital after eating a sandwich called the Triple Bypass Burger.
In February 2012, an article was published titled "Man Has Heart Attack While Eating at the Heart Attack Grill," which was followed by
Just as advertised. I see no problem here.
another article only 2 months later reading, "Heart Attack Grill lives up to its name again this week when a woman collapsed in their Las Vegas restaurant. This marks the second person to fall victim to their horrifically caloric food in less than a year, with the Heart Attack Grill responding in the most brand appropriate way, by bragging about it on their website. 2 ambulance departures in less than 60 days left an indelible mark on the Heart Attack Grill's
That's
public
gonna bring in
image.
a lot
Dr.
more
John
people.
delivered a clear message to the media that such tragedies shall inevitably continue due to having clientele which he refers to as being the avant-garde of nutritional risk takers.
Did that heart attack pad my wallet with money? Absolutely. Did I enjoy that? Absolutely.
Although this is still nothing compared to what would happen 1 year later. The Heart Attack Grill had a new unofficial spokesperson named John Alleman.
he looks a lot skinnier than the other two. Maybe he'll live longer.
Who was recognized as the restaurant's most loyal customer. He never missed a day, even on Christmas, Basso said. People just loved him. He connected with people in a real way, although all of this changed on the 11th of February 2013. After chowing down on his daily feed at the grill, John Ellerman suffered a February 2013. After chowing
I
down
just
on
have to
his
say,
daily...
this image right here, this just looks disgusting to me. Like, I don't see how anyone could see this and go, yum, I'll eat that. Like, no, it looks horrible.
Feed at the grill, John Ellerman suffered a heart attack and died while waiting for the bus at the front of the store. This led to Basso's craziest PR stunt to date.
So did the food kill him? Or did the heat kill him? Because this is Las Vegas. It's incredibly hot there. Like, he might have just had a heart. Actually, nah, it was probably the food.
They'll say it's grotesque. They'll say, how can you keep the man's cremation here?
With Basso keeping the cremation inside the restaurant.
Wow, that's the guy. That's him. How did the family allow this? I mean, it's great for publicity. It's incredibly controversial, so that's going to bring in a lot of views, a lot of people, but that is so fucked up.
As he wants you to know his food kills so that maybe you'll stop eating junk. This man is willing to sacrifice his reputation and maybe even his humanity to try and make the world a healthier place.
That sounds great, but that's not true at all. None of the people who go there will say, someone suffered a heart attack? Maybe I should stop eating here. None of them will do that. They just won't. Because they'll think it won't happen to them. They will believe that, oh, he just got unlucky, that's why he died, it wasn't the food. I'm fine, I won't die from this. This isn't going to change anyone's views, let's be honest.
Respect him for it. Basso believes the restaurant helps customers to reflect on their own choices, having stated anybody who's over 350 pounds gets on that scale. We applaud them like the big sumo wrestler they are, treat them like a champ, make them feel good for that moment, give them free food all they want. But these people go home at night and they ponder that and say, wow, why did I just get free food and have the whole restaurant applauding for me? Because I'm a freak, plain and simple.
That is not true. These people do not go home and think that. They go home and they're proud of themselves. Let's be honest. We know what the media is like today. They promote a very unhealthy lifestyle. The liberals love being like, oh, accept everyone for how they are. Oh, you're morbidly obese and gonna die in 5 years. Doesn't matter because everyone has to accept that anyway. You shouldn't have to change yourself so you don't die. Just do what you want. Live as unhealthy as you want. If you die in 5 years, that's better for us because we will no longer have to pay for your medical bills.
Before adding, I'm running an obesity intervention and I think it works. I really do. Everybody should check out our Facebook and see a lot of people say, hey Dr. John, I've lost 82 pounds since the last time I was in. It's the X factor, something that snapped in that person that said, wow, I'm gonna make a change in my life, and they did, and that's fabulous. With this sentiment also showing up in
I guess that could work. But there's going to be two types of people. One type of person is going to be like, shit, this food is terrible for me. Someone died here. I should stop eating here. And maybe they'll go on a diet. The other type of person will be like, we'll just do what I stated earlier. They're just going to keep eating it because they don't care. Or they're just addicted to copium. And they're just going to keep denying the facts and the evidence. But this is actually also good in a different way. Since a lot of these people will die, that means, morbidly obese people have a lot of medical problems, which means they have to go to the doctor a lot, and a lot of government resources have to be spent on them. The more of them die, the less resources are spent on those people, because they will no longer be alive. So in a way, the government, the United States government, would probably approve of something like this because it's better for them. Because, you know, it's the government. They don't see people as people. They just see them as numbers. So the less people who are problematic, aka morbidly obese people, the better for them. So this is actually really good. I personally believe that as well. The more these people die, the better. Less strain on the medical department, I guess. Those resources could be allocated to people who actually are doing something with their lives, instead of just waiting to die in the next few years because they're so obese.
In the YouTube comments. The Heart Attack Grill restaurant has motivated me to take care of myself, stick to my diet. The namesake restaurant actually sends a very positive message. If you don't take care of yourself today, you might find yourself eating a free meal at my restaurant in the not so distant future, because everyone over 350 pounds eats for free, and therefore Basso believes the restaurant is an overall positive.
I am a believer that when people hear my message, the net health benefit to society is incredibly good.
However,
it actually is because once again, either they stop eating and they change themselves, they start living healthy, or they die and they get removed from the population permanently. So it is a lot of benefits. It really is. Like he said,
Basso believes the restaurant is an overall positive.
I am a believer that when people hear my message, the net health benefit to society is incredibly good.
However,
it really is, because once again, either they eat healthy now, or they're just gone.
you won't be surprised.
So, less fat people, it lowers the percentage of obese people, and therefore the net health benefit goes up.
To hear that not everybody agrees.
He's deliberately trying to get people to eat more than they need.
With this being echoed by...
He's deliberately trying to get people to eat more than they need. No, he's not. They do this to themselves. If I go to a restaurant, like the Heart Attack Grill, and I start eating a shit ton of food, I do that on my own choice. No one's forcing me. I do that myself. These people who are so morbidly obese because they eat there, or just they were morbidly obese before as well, they do it to themselves. No one's forcing them. And I already know some people will be like, oh, it's all genetics. It isn't. Genetics only play a part of it. Even if because of your genetics you are more likely to become obese, you can still stop yourself from being obese by eating healthy, eating smaller portions, and by exercising regularly. Genetics only play a part of it. Just because you are genetically more likely to become obese doesn't mean you will. You control it.
By the legendary Anthony Bourdain, who stated, there is a restaurant in Vegas, I think it's called the Heart Attack Grill, where if you're over 350 pounds you eat for free. I think that should be pretty much a war crime.
Wow. Really? This has the same energy as executing people in a video game should be considered a war crime and it shouldn't be able to be done. I'm not sure where I heard that, but apparently there was some sort of argument or something. Was it the Red Cross? I think it was the Red Cross, where war crimes in video games should not be possible. You shouldn't be able to do it, or something like that. Which just, it baffles me how retarded these people can be.
On top of this, a former waitress went public talking about her terrible time working at the restaurant, explaining that after a man passed out mid-meal, a manager made me take out my cell phone to record a video of the whole thing so they could send it to the media. It was on a Friday afternoon, and he hoped it would make the news so they could have a busy weekend. On the opposite...
The food may or may not have been responsible for what happened to that man. No shit! That's the whole point! How is this a hostess describing her bad experience? This is what it's supposed to be. People are supposed to die here. That's the whole point of it. Like, and take out the cell phone and record a video of the thing. People were probably going to do that anyway. The other people eating there would have recorded it because that's what people are like these days. How is this a bad experience? This is what it's supposed to be. This is what you signed up for.
It was on a Friday afternoon, and he hoped it would make the news so they could have a busy weekend. On the opposite end of the spectrum, a different waitress stated this.
I've been here 11 years. I enjoy this way too much.
so the experience clearly depends on which person you ask. In a different instance, the PCRM sent a letter to Basso asking him to declare moral bankruptcy and close the heart attack grill.
Really? Man, they must have been real proud of themselves for that one. They must have gone home and partied after that. Like, wow. Really? Declare moral bankruptcy? Really? For what? He's providing the food. They're eating it. By their own choice. Yeah. He did nothing wrong. This is just completely on those people.
However, given the restaurant earned $5.5 million in revenue last year,
5.5
it seems
mil.
obvious that Dr. John Basso and the Heart Attack Grill won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
And they shouldn't. That was a great video, man. I'm leaving a like on this. I mean, yeah, I think I said pretty much everything I wanted to say about this during the video. It's not controversial at all. It's controversial for the liberals. Maybe. But in my opinion, this is great. And this should continue. Because the people who go there, they do it themselves. It's their own choice. If they want to die, by all means, they can do so if they want. No one will stop them. Because no one cares enough to do so. And you have to think about it. The people who go to this restaurant and eat the food there, the ones who are over 350 pounds and morbidly obese, those people, I'm talking about them specifically, those are the same types of people who believe it's all genetics and it's not their fault. I'm confident that's the case. Those people just deny the facts and they don't want to believe that they're the ones at fault for their own weight. So, if you weigh 350 pounds or more, you can only blame yourself. Unless you're like a fucking bodybuilder who's like incredibly swole. But that's different. Because you're expected to weigh more in that case. But I'm getting off track here. Yeah. You can only blame yourself if you weigh that much. Because it really is just your own fault. You can't blame anyone else. You really can't. Well, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you in the next video. It's probably going to be another Sunny V2 video because these videos are great.